Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how animals adapt. Alright, so before we start our lesson, I want you to look at these statements and just decide whether you agree or disagree. So, I want you to think about, do you agree or disagree that your hair color is a trait? The shape of a bird's beak is an adaptation. Migration is an adaptive behavior. And behaviors are either learned or they are inherited. So I just want you to keep those four things in mind of whether you agree or disagree with those statements. And then we're going to revisit those at the end of our lesson. So we're going to look at how animals get what they need. All right. So you guys, human kids, they often have the same hair color as their parents, or at least one of them. Well, in that same way, young animals will inherit traits from their parents. And you may be asking, what is a trait? Well, a trait is simply a physical feature. So it's something that you can see on yourself or on another person. So eye color, hair color, how many toes we have, how tall we are, things like that. So that's a trait. So animals have characteristics like their parents, okay? And young animals are born knowing some behaviors that will actually help them survive. So they don't have to be taught these behaviors. They're actually born knowing how to do it. Can you think of something that you're born knowing how to do that your mom or your dad didn't have to teach you? Did you happen to say cry, maybe? So, an adaptation, okay? So this is a new word and this is important. It is a physical feature or a behavior that helps an animal get food, protect itself, move, or reproduce. And we're going to really look at some adaptations. So, if you look at this bird, or we know it's a bird, but it's a duck over here. Can you think of some adaptations of the duck? Okay, you may have maybe looked at its feet, all right, because ducks have webbed feet, right? And why do they need the webbed feet? What does it help them to do? It helps them swim, right? Yeah, if we were to put just a regular bird in the water that doesn't have webbed feet, they're not going to be able to swim as easily as the duck. So its webbed feet that is a physical feature, okay? It's an adaptation that allows the duck to be a strong swimmer. Also, if you've ever seen a duck, you know that their feathers, oh my goodness, the water just rolls right off of them. They get out of the water and they do a little shake and it's like they never were in the water. And it's because they have a coating of oil on them that basically makes them waterproof. That is another adaptation. Okay, that's a physical feature. All right. So, those are some adaptations, and we're going to go over some of this other stuff later. So let's look at some other adaptations of birds. All right. Feathers. Feathers are important for birds because if they did not have feathers, they could not what? Fly, right? If we plucked all the feathers out of a hummingbird, even though they are super duper light and they are very little, they could not fly. They have to have those feathers. What else does a bird is unique about a bird? What do they need in order to survive? Did you happen to say the beak? If you did, that's awesome. You're right on target. The shape of its beak, of a bird's beak, will help get whatever kind of food it needs. So if you think about a hummingbird's beak, or a stork, or even this cute little finch, their beaks are very different. Can you guess what kind of food this finch eats? Did you say a fish? No, of course not. They're eat seeds. That beak is perfect to help crack the shells of seeds. Oh, look at this heron. I bet if you live here in Arkansas, you see these blue herons all the time, standing in shallow waters, just waiting for a what to swim by? Yes, a fish. And do you think he's going to open up his mouth and just scoop him up? No, that sharp beak, he's going to spear that fish. That's what they need that long beak for. Oh, and if we go back to the heron, look at his legs. He does not have webbed feet, but he has those nice long skinny legs. So he gets him high above the water. He can look down into the water, and hopefully the fish don't notice his legs. Ah, one of my favorite birds, a hummingbird. Right? They need that long skinny beak so they can get way down into those nice delicate flowers. And they've got a beautiful tongue that comes out of there, out of those beaks, and they can lick the nectar out of the flowers. All right. Now, this guy doesn't have a beak, does it? No, this is a crab-eating seal. He has got tons of different adaptations from the birds. So I just want you to look at him. Think about, where does he live? What are some different things that you notice about him? Some different physical features. And maybe there might be even some that you can't see as opposed to the birds. So I'm going to stop here, and I want you to actually think of maybe 3 other animals that I haven't shown you here, and try to think about some different adaptations of those 3 animals. Maybe try to think of animals that live in different areas or different environments, we might say. And why do they need those particular adaptations? What does it help them do? Remember, an adaptation is going to help them either move, produce, protect themselves. Okay? And we will be discussing this either later today or tomorrow.